Hello everyone, I am Punchy. This will be a tutorial about the Silent Hill 2 any percent category, since people seem to want to know that. I'll jump into this quickly. The first thing you need to do is you need to check your options menu. This must be set to directional style. Anything else can be bound however you like, really, although control options are a thing of note. So this is going to vary from person to person depending on what you're comfortable with, obviously, the magic of PC gaming. But you need quick save bound to something convenient. And also you would like to have the next weapon hotkey bound to something convenient as well, because these are both used in various capacities. The rest are all sort of basic gameplay functions that you need, although do keep the map button handy as well, even though you don't really need a map for gameplay, but you need it for glitches, so keep these buttons handy. The rest are all sort of gameplay things. Light on and off also helps, like these buttons are the ones that you need bound, you can kind of get away with not really having anything else. You will also need a set of keyboard bindings, because in order to efficiently speedrun this game, you will need both a controller, like I use a PS2 pad, but you don't need a PS2 pad, and a keyboard. You need both. This is a mixed control style game, it's fun like that. So once you have your controls all situated, we will begin the run. So this will be any percent, so beginner, and you can play on either riddle, normal, or easy, but normal is the done thing because normal is not any slower than easy. In fact, it's debatably faster. We don't really know the specifics. Easy mode is definitely not faster, so don't worry about that. So you begin in the bathroom, and immediately, right? So if you're not used to the way this style of control works in these games, it is not camera dependent now that you've set your control style to directional. It's not tank controls anymore. If you hold down right,
I disagree.
you go down right, regardless of your camera angle. Also, hello, I have my sub notifications on while I'm doing a tutorial because I'm a jackass. It's good like that. Also, if you want the UFO ending category, the stone is over here. We're not doing that category, but any percent bleeds into the New Game Plus categories almost 100%, so you don't gotta worry too much. If you can run any percent, you can run New Game Plus categories. Easy peasy. So, with that addressed, let's start this again. So, I cannot explain good movement to you, but I can sort of do it. If I had an input display, it's a bit easier, but I haven't got that engineered. So you want to run up to this, and when you use this text box, you get, there's nothing on the passenger seat. You can then press quick save, begin to mash quick save. I have mine bound to R1 as you can see. You can now move freely. This is a technique known as text storage. It is the linchpin of Silent Hill 2 speedrunning. Learn to do this, and learn to do it efficiently. So like, you can do this more efficiently if you just sort of run up to this, and then just hit like, your quick save button in quick succession like that. Like, I'll do it again here, real quick. Just run up here, 2 button, and then you're just off. Like, you can get going a lot faster than it seems like you would normally be able to. Very easy and good, because you want to get this text box over here, right? Because normally it says, there's a map in the car, it might be a good idea to take it. We don't want no fucking map in no fucking car. We want to store the text, so store the text we shall. Notably, doing this bypasses picking up the map entirely. Note this, because it will come up again later. You also need to let go of your quick save key once you get past the barrier, because, let me back up here. I will demonstrate this as soon as the game stops. So if I keep mashing quick save, right, to gain control here, it will not progress to the next screen, because quick saving prevents that from occurring. Only when you release will it occur, although now the game's kind of all screwed up. Did that fix it? Yes, it did. Okay, so the first couple of minutes of this run are just sort of walking through the foggy woods and what have you. While you're doing this, continue to rhythmically tap quick save. You don't have to mash it, you can do it at a pretty leisurely pace, because every single time you hit quick save, your stamina refills to the max. And at this moment, you can do it just sort of like once every while. You don't gotta mash it particularly hard or anything like that, just every so often, you know? Just don't get to the point where James actually slows down because his stamina depletes to the next stage. Always keep pressing the button, because you will keep your full speed that way. You don't have to do this indoors. This is exclusively an outdoor area thing. Once you're indoors, you don't have to press quick save at all, unless you're trying to do a specific glitch. So that is how that progresses for the opening. So you run up to this, and it triggers a cutscene. Skip the cutscene, or you can just, like, let it rock. Cutscenes do not add to the in-game timer. Silent Hill 2 runs are timed using the in-game clock. And what counts for in-game time and what doesn't is kind of totally arbitrary. Gameplay certainly counts, and that's the important thing, but which cutscenes do and don't count varies on a case-by-case basis for absolutely no good reason. So, just skip the cutscenes, you know? Like, just skip them. Oh yeah, this appears if you have accomplished the requirements for unlocking the chainsaw. This is any %, which, like, will prevent the usage of New Game Plus items, like that will get your run rejected. Also, the chainsaw's not, like, super useful, but if you're running, say, a New Game Plus category, which has, like, 99% overlap with... I forgot what I was saying. 99% overlap with every other category, then you can use the chainsaw if you want. It's used in, like, maybe a strat. Yeah, my life split timer says dog ending, don't worry about it, it's not that important. I just have a timer on. So, like, movement can be accomplished by, you know, pointing the stick in the direction you want to go in. There are complexities to this, but for the opening, it's pretty straightforward. Just sort of point the stick in the direction. Every time the camera angle shifts right, you need to hold the direction you want to go in, and keep holding it so that James doesn't, like, pivot. Now, you perform text storage again on this text box, and you have to hold this one for a very long period of time, so keep mashing that button in order to keep a hold of the text box. Also, I have camera shift bound to L2, which is convenient because if you keep holding a direction that you want to move in, and hold L2, the camera angle can shift, but James will keep moving in the same direction. But you have to be very firm about holding it. If you, like, slightly turn, then James will interpret the camera angle as the new angle and will, like, do a 360 on the spot and it'll suck. So be firm with your inputs. Don't be wishy-washy. Don't be wavy. A firm grip on the stick is vital for Silent Hill 2 speedrunning. Also, the game likes to just randomly drop frames here if it loads the next chunk and it kind of stutters a bit. That can cause you to drop your text early, and if that happens, just reset, because... Like, great tutorial. If bad thing happen, reset, but, like, at the same time, it's like 4 minutes in. So you want to get to this part because there's a cutscene that triggers around, like, here-ish, where James looks at this bloodstain and it makes you go all the way up there, and you can blah blah blah. But if you run all the way through here, you can bypass that without having to do anything. And the cutscene, the trigger that normally prevents you from walking past this area is about here-ish, but if you have quick save enabled, then you can just merrily trot on by, provided you continue to store this text. Although, I'm continuing to match quick save to keep this text box held. You do not need to continue keeping this text box held past this point, but I'm doing it anyway to demonstrate something amusing, but unnecessary. When it actually crops up. Okay, see this, like... I can't walk in here, can I? But there's nothing here. Wacky. That's because I'm storing the text for too long. If I let go, poof, car. So, let go at a fate. This doesn't have any ill effects on the game. Like, you can keep holding the quick save for as long as it's necessary. You have to let go of it to pick up items, mind you. But you might bump into objects you can't see if you know, keep it held for too long. So you want to go over here. The apartment key is right about here, but it is invisible, so you kind of just got to run up to it, pick it up, and then you can leave. Once you're done with that, again, continue to hit quick save at a leisurely sort of pace, or you can just mash it like a weirdo. And you can proceed to the apartments early. Now, at this point, you don't have the radio, which means you will never know where enemies are unless you memorize it, which is fine, because this is any %, so they're really not that aggressive. But you also don't have a melee weapon. You'll need to remedy that later. We will get to that. But for the time being, we just have to run to the apartments. Very simple. This opening section is very simple. Let's just jog on down to here. Use the thing. And obviously, you want to turn a bit quickly there when the camera angle shifts. Now, this room. This is a good example of the random angle room. This is a key concept in Silent Hill 2 speedrunning, right? Observe the following. I'm going to hold upright on entering this room. Nothing but upright. Nothing but net. Oops, he moved in such a direction. Strange, that. Enter again. This time hold nothing but forward. Still moving a bit upright, though. Strange, that, isn't it? So, upright makes him go really far to the right, and holding straight up makes him veer slightly to the right. What's the deal with that? How do you counteract this, right? That's because when you enter a room, and this is specifically a problem with the alternate control style, which you really need to be using if you want to go as fast as possible, the camera angle when you enter certain rooms doesn't update fast enough versus its old position. So if you hold, like, slightly up left, then it kind of goes in the direction you want, despite the fact that's, like, literally, like, perpendicular to the direction you're actually supposed to be going in, which is really confusing. We call these random angle rooms, even though they're not random, which is kind of a misnomer. They're just wonky angle rooms, would be a better term for them. they're rooms where the angle that you input gets misinterpreted somehow. It gets shifted by certain directions. These rooms don't, they don't have any sort of randomness to them. It's always the same rooms that do this, and it's always by the same amount. So technically you could memorize what the angles are and then adjust to fix that, or you can do what I do and just wiggle the stick until the game realizes what the hell it's doing. So that's what I do. If I you just wiggle the stick in a certain line, the game will get the message eventually. And then you can just move in a straight line like that. That's the benefit of this control stick. You can just wiggle the stick to move in places. So go here, get the flashlight again when this turns. See, this is a good example of a camera angle swap like that. So I'm holding down here to move, but then when the camera angle swaps, I need to press down again. The camera angle swap didn't happen because I already got the flashlight. But yeah, when you get the camera angle swap so that it changes the position, you can immediately flick the stick to one side and then hold down again, and you'll start moving straight down towards the camera. Learn that sort of perpendicular flick, because it will help you to move smoothly when the camera angle suddenly does a Dutch angle. This is another one where you need to suddenly flick the stick to the right, because the camera angle suddenly changes. So this one isn't upright. Good movement is something that requires practice. It's a bit difficult to verbally explain. I hope this might be vaguely helpful. This one you kind of have to grab off screen. This hitbox can be very awkward, and it likes to say, it's a shopping cart here. What's that doing here? I messed this up 9 times out of 10, so don't worry if you can't really hit the angle super well. You have to examine this gate and try and pick this key up and skip a cutscene before the game is allowed to continue and maneuver around these stairs. Alright, so, a glitch coming up. Funny that, we have those. Normally you get interrupted by a scream here, but if you hit the quick save key as soon as you walk over it, you have control of James again. But you see this text box is on the screen. I can press X to get rid of it, but you may notice at this point I can't do anything. I have my flashlight button down to L3 normally. I can't turn my flashlight off, I can't even open the menu. The game is fucked in this state. I can't open doors. So what's a person to do? If you have your walk-run key bound, and you should, because this is where you need it, press it. Now you can open doors. No, I don't know why that works. Thank you for asking. But nevertheless, that's what you have to do. So get that key, come back through here. Maneuver around these places, get your other key, collect various keys to use in various places. Welcome to Silent Hill, everyone. And again, you don't need to quick save while you're indoors unless you're doing specific glitches. That's just something you can do if you like to tap buttons like I do. But it does not have any importance with regards to your movement speed. So get back through here. This piece of movement can be a bit tricky. I'm not even going to bother trying to explain it because it's wacky. You want to get in front of here and use the clock key. This would be a good time to explain menuing. So I will. Menuing in this game is very strange. So I'll open the menu, press menu and then start pressing button. There was a little pause there, you see. You see, it moved over to the once and then it started to scroll. You want to avoid that. You want it to just immediately start scrolling quickly, to which your solution is to press the button and immediately start holding left. See? No stop. Quick scroll. But if you do it too early, James can do that. He can move to the left while the menu is opening, which is bad because the game will then tell you, you can't use that here. You need to find the timing for this. It's very weird in particular. Although menuing in this game at least is easy, you always want to move left. There is never a situation where you want to move right. Because of the way key items arrange themselves, moving to the left is always the correct decision. It's not like Silent Hill 1. So open your menu, scroll over, use your clock key, that is, use your clock key, get the mouse cursor off the examine button. The mouse cursor, depending on where you position it, can actually, intercept menu commands, so, don't do that. Use your clock key, and then see what your RNG is, because this puzzle is randomly generated. So, the solution to this puzzle is always the same. The solution is always 9-10, but the big hand and the little hand, well, mostly the little hand that you worry about, but every hand is positioned randomly. You want it to start as close to 9-10 as you possibly can. I had it start on 3. 3 sucks ass. That loses you mucho dinero time. Don't be about that life. That sucks. This is entirely random. There is nothing you can do to predict this. if I get RNG like that in a run, I just reset normally. It's like 9 seconds out from an ideal outcome. You don't have to be particularly precise with where you put the clock hand as well, by the way. Like, it can be here, it can be about here. Doesn't matter, it's fine. Just don't be like here. Like, actually have it be like on the 2. So you deal with that, push it out of the way, go through the hole, yada yada yada, deal with these wacky camera angle swaps. It ain't no big deal. So this is handgun ammo. You do not need this on any percent. You do need it on normal mode. Right, I screwed that up because I'm a genius. Hold down when you enter this room, because that way you move forward. Then you can tap your camera angle change button to reset the camera angle to something less stupid. So you can actually see where you're going. Alright, so this one starts with a cutscene. You want to hold up and slightly to the left so that you can grab this key on the corner and immediately exit. Like so. And again, this one, hold down, but stay firm, and then hold the camera change button so that James continues to keep walking in the correct direction while you adjust the camera to something more sensible. You need to master that technique. And it can be surprisingly hard to stay firm in your direction. So this piece of movement as well takes a bit of time to get used to, because you will move so quickly you actually start to outpace the camera. But you want to go up here. Movement is relative to the camera, even when the camera can't keep up with you. It's still relative to it, so bear that in mind. Alright, so now, exiting this room, this is another random angle area. I'm gonna hold down left, because that's the direction you want to go in. Oops, he's moving up and right instead. Good game. So, yeah, don't do that. Instead, what you should do is you should wiggle the stick in the down left direction. See, even there it didn't quite work, as it sort of moved into the upright before it got there. Wiggle it more aggressively, I guess. Oh yeah, this is another outdoor area, so keep quick save to keep your stamina high. Oh, random angled again. Genius. The wonky angle. And make that piece of movement there where you sort of hold right and then hit a down right to get to the juice. Shoot there, and that I made that look pretty easy, but it's not. That takes some practice too. Practice angles like that. I can't really verbally explain how to do things like that. Good movement is not something I can verbally explain. I can, however, verbally explain something like this. You run up to this coin, and you press your button to interact with it, right? As soon as you do that, start mashing quick save and hold away from it. Hold down. Because you will start to run. You know, away from it. You'll get a bit away from it before the text kicks in, like so. You might hear a footstep noise if I do. Excuse me. Yeah, there was one footstep noise you see, but then this text comes up. You got a coin. Now, quick save again and press X to advance through the text. And you can keep doing it. So I'm already all the way over here. While the black screen was going, I gained control before the game had even faded back in. But that can make this tricky because you need to move around this little hedged thing here without actually being able to see it. The way I do it is, I can't really demonstrate now because I've already picked up the coin, but it's about 3 and a bit footsteps from the second time you quick save. So it goes like dun dun dun, and then you can like start moving left and around. If you do it too long, you'll hit the wall and go slow. If you do it too early, you'll ram the hedge and be silly. So a perfect, like, sort of line is what I call trimming the hedge. A piece of lexicon that I'm firmly determined to get in here. This is another room that's a random angle. Holding down will get you fucked. It will move you straight in the opposite direction of where you need to go, which is genius. So, again, wiggle sticks to prevent this. Time for stumble cancelling. My favourite. This is easy. When you fall off a ledge, he'll stumble. If you tap your next weapon hotkey, it'll immediately stand you back up again. So that's very simple to do. Don't do it too early, otherwise it'll, like, keep falling. Like, allow me to demonstrate. That looks really funny. That's very entertaining to me. Only do it once. Towards the end, when you've actually, like, touched the ground. Now, this room can be random angle. Normally, I just hold up right and hope for the best, but sometimes it can, like, send you to the left instead. That one really is random. That's the only room in the game that sometimes sends you in the wrong direction and other times doesn't. It's very particular. So you go in that room, you get a cutscene, you skip it, you leave. Standard stuff. Do not ruminate on things like this too much. This, I think, might be another random... No, this one's fine. Okay, this one, again, this room is random angle. So if I hold, like, down here, it goes to the left. Genius. So again, you need to wiggle the sticks to prevent this. And with that, you are done with the first section of the apartments. Congratulations, because this is one of the more annoying bits. Yay. Skip this cutscene because that one actually counts for the in-game clock like a bunch of weirdos. So go through here, hold right. You can hit this door on the corner. Don't be afraid. Keep mashing. Go down here. Oh, try not to bonk the walls when you're moving, because otherwise, you know, stuff gets janky. Alright, so here's where you need to be careful. Make sure you're facing the door properly before you try and open this, otherwise, when you press your button to try and interact with it, auto-aim will kick in and it'll try and make you shoot this figure over here. That can be annoying. That's a beginner, like, any percent exclusive problem. That doesn't happen on normal mode. It's still frustrating all the same. So make sure you're facing a door. If you're slightly off, the game will assume you want to attack something instead. So you skip this, immediately hit your interact button twice to pick up the coin. Just no delay. Just get straight on it. Alright, same kind of story here. Make sure you're facing the door properly. Hold down, tilt to the right suddenly, and then you can open and do your menuing quickly. Now, use your mouse, because this is a mouse cursor thing, to put this in the middle. But while the fade-in's coming in, press pause. I have mine bound to escape on the keyboard. I think that's default, and I'm not even sure if you can change that. Because when you use an item, there is a fade-in that occurs before you're allowed to open the menu and use another item again. If you pause the game and unpause it, it skips that fade-in, allowing you to get access to the menu again quicker. And obviously, as you may note from my live split, in-game time is also paused while pausing is occurring. It's kind of cheesy, but nevertheless, Silent Hill 2 runs a time with the in-game timer, so that's what we do. So as soon as you unpause, I use the keyboard for this. This is an example of mixed style, so I have, like, WASD and spacebar as my inventory. So as soon as I unpause, I hit space, and then try not to do it too early as well, so you don't accidentally turn James during the menu, and then you can use the mouse cursor once more. Repeat this trick another time for the final coin. And again, try and position your mouse cursor to be over the correct hole while the inventory is fading out, so that you can get quick clicks. Once you're done with that, you may leave. Make sure you actually pick up the key before you leave, otherwise you will look very silly. Executing those fade-out skips well can save, like, 2 seconds, so do make a note of it. Again, you need to twiddle the stick in a particular way. Not like that, that's very bad, actually. So when you cross a threshold like this, the camera angle will suddenly change, right? This is a good enough place to demonstrate it as any. So when I do these, I like to wiggle the sticks on the, like, the upright so that it kind of, you see him, like, shake a little bit as he goes through the camera angle. That's because I think this is the safest bet for getting through these sort of weird camera angle changes smoothly. Yeah, like so. It works well enough for me. Angles like that should be practiced, but I can hopefully impart some knowledge to you. Okay, so this is the first boss fight. This is dead simple. Just as soon as you start, hold your aim button and shoot him with the gun 6 times, something like that. Bosses don't really exist on this difficulty. Run into him like this. You might whiff a shot or two. The specifics of how many shots you hit really aren't important. It could be 5, 6, 7, doesn't matter. Just get out of his way, because if you get in his way, he'll turn and throw an attack at you, and that's slow as balls. So just don't do what I just did and wait in the corner for him to go down the stairs. And once he starts to get down the stairs, you know, you can position yourself near the stairs so that you can get a move on when he's actually gone. But until he's, like, down the stairs, stay out of his way. And that overhead attack can actually kill you, so, like, don't get hit by it. Otherwise, you just have to wait, and then you can get through here. Groovy. Alright, this is another random angle where if you hold left here, he'll immediately, like, go to the down left, so wiggle the stick to the left direction in order to get the correct line that you want. And once again, we're outside, so continue to rhythmically tap quick save in order to maintain high stamina. Alright, so this is a thing that I could demonstrate. People like to mash quick save through here so that when they reach this cutscene here, that occurs when you reach this, when you mash quick save, you gain control again, but the timer starts ticking again, you see. Time is ticking within the cutscene. That's not good. So don't mash quick save when you reach that cutscene. Just skip the cutscene and then continue running. Otherwise, you're sacking IGT for no reason. Don't do that. FMV. Now you have Maria following you. You don't really have to care about her. Do not concern yourself with her. If you are running the dog ending category, the dog key is located directly opposite to the park here, so just run straight forward from here, but we're not going to bother with that, so we'll take on the straight and narrow. So you can just go over here instead, past this figure. So you need to move it about this sort of direction in order to collect the steel pipe from the gas station. Because you do not have a melee weapon, and you need a melee weapon for later. So collect this one, because it's the most efficient. Free pipe! Easy. Continue to mash your quick save key. And this is all just movement. This movement took me a little while to learn. I find it helps to just hold right, but keep the stick firm in the right direction, even when you're going through the turn. That seems to help. But again, these are all things that you can practice fairly easily with quick save and quick load, if you want to get the hang of specific angles. So this remains relatively simplistic up until we get to the hospital. There's one more random angle room that should be noted before. But otherwise, this is just progress the plot. Hold up through here, get a cutscene, come back down, skip another cutscene. This is another one where I like to wiggle down left in order to get up these stairs as quickly as possible. Trying to change the camera here is always more headache than it's worth, so I just memorize when to hold left and get into this door. But that might be trouble for some of you. This room coming up here, this is random angle. So if I hold straight down... Oops. He's walking back into the door. Genius, this. So again, wiggle the stick in a downward direction to prevent this from occurring. Once you've reached the hospital... Skip another cutscene, and bada bing, in the hospital. So again, this is another one you want to wiggle the sticks when you come in here to prevent angle wackiness from occurring to get into this door. Get through here, activate this text box. You can skip this text box with quick save. So quick save and then press X as soon as it appears, and you can skip past all the text passage to immediately get the key. That's helpful. It saves a few seconds, so do it like that. Progress upward through here. I like to hold down left here so you can kind of slip past this nurse that you didn't even really see very easily. I'm going to come in here, collect the shotgun, examine this teddy bear to get the bent needle, and then leave. You may or may not be able to take this line more smoothly depending on whether or not the nurse is in a certain location randomly or not. You just don't know. Get this key. Go into this room, and you need this code. These codes are randomly generated on a per playthrough basis, so this code is going to be a code I've never had before. 5692. Remember this code. Try and keep 5692 in your memory up until a certain point where you can be cheeky about it. I like to get my Twitch chat to write the codes at me, but if you do not have that option because you are not streaming or whatever, you have different options. The code is not for this. This code is always 7335. There is no randomness to it. It is always that number. On normal riddle, at least. I think it might be different on easy. Collect the roof key from this room. Be careful not to talk to Marie in the process of doing that, by the way. It's really easy to do. Anyway, if you kept the code in your memory up to this point, you'll have an opportunity here. So walk a bit forward here. When the camera angle starts to change is about when I consider myself to have walked far enough, when it slightly tilts like that. Then you can approach that gate and then come through here where you get smacked by Pyramid Head. into a wall. This cutscene here, cutscenes don't advance the in-game time. This is where you have an opportunity to cheekily alt-tab and write the code into a notepad file if you're that way inclined. So, like, you can do that right now if you like. I just did. Because fuck y'all. You have the time. And noteworthy, right, you have the red cross in the corner now. Because being knocked off the roof by Pyramid Head puts you in critical health. That's not super important, but keeping it in mind. And this code is 3832. Again, this is also randomly determined. You're gonna need to just keep that one in your brain. But it's the area where you need to use the codes is coming right up, so you don't have to keep that in memory for very long. So just keep that one in mind. You can memorize, you can write the first one down, but the second one you're gonna have to remember. Also, you can use the combine function in the inventory to use 2 keys at the same time, which is very convenient. So now, input your codes. Click. Good menuing. And when you get the item here, hit quick save immediately and start holding upright so that you can get out the door before the game is even done fading back in. You didn't see that piece of movement at all, because I obscured it. But yeah. So walk a bit forward here, tap a bit forward. Even if you're too far forward, it's easy to miss, and you can combine these two to get the key. And a note on the briefcase puzzle that we just did. The initial position of the cylinders is totally random, so you can get cylinders that start very close to what you need to input and save time that way. It's random. You may have noticed that we're holding the shotgun now. If you tap the next weapon key, you stop for a little bit in place, right? So that loses you speed. So don't be doing that. But, you will have the pistol equipped when you get down here, or maybe slightly before. So when you're about to enter this room to activate the boss, just tap that next weapon hotkey and then open the door. So that way you cancel it. And you have the shotgun equipped when you get in here. This is also the wrong room, incidentally. Don't go into that room. Go into the correct room that's one door down. This is now a boss fight. So this is Flesh Lips. From the start, immediately aim the gun and fire once. This will kill the first line, Flesh Lips immediately. Then run up to this one, fire another shot. If it starts swinging, this can make it take 2 shots if it wants to be awkward about it. That should kill it. This figure can spawn from either of 2 positions, doesn't matter. When James looks up, that's when you can fire at the 3rd one, and it should die immediately. There is a chance that that 3rd guy might decide to move halfway across the room and then die. That's random. If it happens, cry. You just lose time if it happens. There's naught you can do about it. Sucks to be you. Anyway, that deals with the first boss. Move into here. If you positioned your mouse cursor over the first button, like so, the first time you use the elevator, you may now use the analog stick to immediately move straight upwards to the next elevator button, so that you do not have the opportunity to miss it, because then you can just simply hold up and mash in order to immediately hit the next elevator button upwards, which makes it really convenient for menuing. So keep that in mind. Mouse cursor position has memory, so again, I can just hold up and mash and then 3, right? The game will remember where you last put your mouse cursor. So you can set it up to be favorable, or you can have it linger on the wrong menu command and screw yourself up. Right, that one's another one where I like to wiggle the stick in the upright direction to get down these stairs more efficiently, but stair movement in general is kind of hard on this control style, so practice it. Here, when you approach this door, I like to release the control stick entirely and then tap X twice. Obviously, I could do that a bit quicker, because if you hold it down, there's a chance that when you use it, it will suddenly turn you in a direction after you're done, you know, using the first command. So if you let go when you approach the door, you will slide into it and then you can activate it twice. This one is just hold upright, activate objects, hold down, pick up a ring, hold straight to the right, touch a ladder, hold to the left, get through a door. This one, when the camera angle changes, I like to suddenly flick to the upwards direction to gain control of my movement again. It can be tricky like that. That's too early. This is the correct staircase. Anyway, now that we have Maria from the basement, we can go get the second ring. You need 2 rings to clear this section. So go back down, to floor 2. This is skippable. Specifically, this one is skippable, so skip this one, because that saves time. It's the only elevator cutscene the game lets you skip, so skip it. Get this fridge, get the ring, hold down, coming out of here, and then hold L2 again, remain firm, so that you can continue to move in that direction while the camera angle changes to something less stupid. Hold up right here, go back to the 3rd floor, and you are just about done. Use the 2 rings at the same time with the combine command for more efficient menuing. Alas, that doesn't work with the coins. Okay, so you need to hold right here, but in a very specific way, unless you bonk into Maria. That camera angle also sucks. You need to very quickly turn to a down left angle as soon as you hit that one. It's difficult. Practice it. Right, this sequence coming up here. This is always hold down, you see, but every time the camera angle changes, flick to the right and then hold down again. Flick to the right, hold down again. A flick to the right, hold down again. Flick to the right, hold down. I mean, also left. You can do left if you like, but I flick to the right. This one's flick to the right and then down left. Flick to the right, down left. Flick to the right, down. Like so, yes? If you do that correctly, it's smooth. If you do it wrong, you bunk a wall. Let's come in here, get your thing. This is another text box that you can skip with a quick save, so immediately when it pops up, quick save and press X. So that you can skip that text box and save like a second or two. This is also, you cannot speed this section up at all. This is just... I am looking at chat while I'm doing this, by the way, but yeah, I'm not talking directly to it because that would taint the recording or something. Once you get through that, mash X, get your key, skip this cutscene, and you can leave the door. Hold down left here for a certain period of time, then hold up right, and you should hit the door quickly enough. Skip this cutscene quickly, because that one counts for IGT. I don't know why, but it does. So now, you're in Outdoor Silent Hill, and you have low health. Health directly correlates with maximum stamina in this game, so you may need to mash your quick save button quicker than you normally do, in order to maintain maximum stamina. You don't have to do it particularly quick still, like, you can still sort of do it like this, like, it's not really mashing, is it? But still, like, you need to be more on the ball with it. You can't just like press it once every whatever. Like, it doesn't require a fast mash, but still, like, don't forget about it because you'll run out of stamina quicker when you're on low health. In any percent, having low health is no bother because death is not really a relevant concern, but it does affect this, so pay it some mind. Otherwise, this section's mostly just moving. However, you did remember to bind your map key to something sensible, right? I personally have mine mounted to the triangle button, which is what it normally would be if you were playing this on a real PS2. I think that's a convenient button for this. Keep your flashlight on while you go through these sections, because you need them to unlock doors. If your flashlight's off, it won't let you, interact with things. It won't let you pick up objects, it won't let you interact with certain doors, etc., etc. So like, if I had my flashlight off right now, I wouldn't be able to open this door. It would just say, it's locked. And it'd be like, why? If you open it. Now it's unlocked, then you can go through. Okay, so run through here. Turn your flashlight off. Then, when you press the map button, it says it's too dark to read the map, right? Because you don't have a map, but also it's too dark. Now you can quick save this, and haha, you now have text storage. You have portable text storage. You can do it anywhere. Genius. If you're efficient, you can do it like while you're moving by just sort of tapping the 2 buttons together, and then you can activate it very quickly. You want to hold it's too dark to read the map for pretty much this entire section. It's too dark to read the map also prevents enemies from spawning while you're at it. Cut this corner through the parking lot. So the reason why you're holding it's too dark to read the map is that a certain trigger, that cutscene you skipped from the beginning of the game, still there. Fun, that. The trigger that normally prevents you from passing through about, like, this location-ish is still here. So you need to hold it's too dark to read the map in order to bypass it. Once you get around this corner, you can safely let go of the text storage. Turn your light back on. Start holding your camera button to keep the camera firm while you hold in a direction. Then you need to turn in this direction. And you want to stand about here-ish, right? Because you may have noticed it said, I got the wrench. Then it immediately picked it up. If you're too far forward, he will bend down to pick up the wrench, and that animation will lose you time. If you stand exactly so, he will just pick it up immediately with no such bending down animation, and in that way, you save time. But once you've got it, turn your flashlight off again, and then activate It's Too Dark to Read the Map again by mashing, and leave the same way you came. that is really the only complex part of the nighttime walking section in Silent Hill 2. So if you can do that, the rest is pretty free. Normally there's an enemy that spawns here, but because I have activated It's Too Dark to Read the Map, he does not spawn. You can let go of it anytime you like, really, once you get past the cutscene trigger a second time. Like, I'm well past it at this point, I could let go if I want, but I like to hold it for a really long period of time because it prevents enemies like this one from spawning, and enemies up here from spawning. They're not really an active threat, but they can sort of body block you sometimes if you're extremely unlucky, so I don't know, why take the risk, you know? But you do need to drop it around here-ish, because you do need to interact with the door. You can't interact with doors while text storing. That ain't how it be. So once you're through, do some more quick saving to maintain your maximum stamina. Bob and weave through these two enemies coming up. Nurse enemies. They're really not gonna hit you unless you like walk directly into them. Cut this corner here. This is me again holding the camera change button for a more favorable camera angle while I continue to hold the same direction. I actually have not let go of holding the stick in the down direction once during those 3 camera angle shifts, because it keeps the straightest line possible. That's key to good movement. Alright, so this bit can be a little complex. So move here, let go of quick save before you touch this because it like cancels the text automatically. When you dig, right, pause the game and then pause it a second time quickly, like so. Pause. Because it cancels that fade in, like I mentioned earlier. That cancels the fade in, allowing you to access the menu quicker and activate the wrench. And now, this piece of movement. Don't quick save too early or you'll soft lock the game. When it goes black, start quick saving. Hold left, then hold down. If you do it correctly, not that happens. While the screen is black, I wonder if you can do it if I activate it again. You gain control when you quick save during the black screen, right? So you want to move sort of in the upward left sort of direction, but the camera angle changes a bit funky, so you sort of want to hold like this and then sort of go down and left and around while the screen is black, which can make it pretty difficult to see. Obviously, if this goes wrong, you'll end up just like moving backwards in the direction that you already came in, and it's not good. It can be a challenge. So like up, sort of downish and around. If you execute this well, you can save about 3 seconds between waiting for the fade in. But once you're past that, simply head on the straight line to the Historical Society. Remember to keep pressing quick save to keep your stamina high. This is pretty simple. You might not want to stick this close to the right side of the road as I currently am, because there is an enemy that spawns over here, and it can kind of bonk you on the nose if you're close enough to it, especially on normal difficulty, where enemies are much more aggressive, but on any percent it's fairly unlikely. Also, avoid cars. Try not to run into those. That would be silly. Yeah, this enemy here. That enemy can sometimes spawn in an unfavorable position. Yep, this is as dead-ass simple as it looks, my friends. Just walk forward, go over here, bronze key. This is another one where you want to wiggle the stick to the left because the angle here is one of those wonky angles where if you just hold straight left, it will go wee up. Thanks. Yeah, hopefully you get the point by now. Wiggle the stick to the left to prevent this from occurring. And now you hold up for like 30 seconds. Anytime you enter a room and it seems like your angle is not correct based on what you input, wiggle the stick when you enter the room to prevent it from happening. That is the golden rule. If you don't have movement difficulties, just sort of finagle it until the game gets it right. Keep that next weapon hotkey handy, because while you have the shotgun equipped right, when you tap the next weapon hotkey, it'll equip the pipe, which you want right now. So as soon as you reach this next door, swapping to the pipe would be a good idea, since you can cancel that little momentum with the door opening. You can also use numbered hotkeys on your keyboard for that. I don't do that, because I think it's awkward. But you can. Hold straight down, hold left. When the camera angle swaps, immediately start to hold up right. This camera angle sucks. It can randomly give you this camera angle sometimes, and it's really hard to deal with. Hold down right, jump in this hole. Right, now hold leftish. If you want to hit around here, see this little white thing on the floor? This is how I cue it, right? You want this wall. The way I cue it is that white blotch on the ground near the wall. That's how you know, because like these all look different. Whereas it's this white blotch, you want to aim at it. Don't, if you press X here, it says it's just a wall, and it says, huh, this is different, which is how you know it's correct. But if you try and like aim and then hit X too soon, it'll examine the wall without actually hitting it. So hold your aim button and then start holding X in order to repeatedly stab the wall with a pipe. And then a door opens. Hold forward and X to go through it, and then you will immediately fall, so tap your next weapon hotkey again to swap back to the pistol, because it also cancels the stumble. And also you now have the pistol equipped, which is fun. Go into this room. Time for bug room skip. This one's very simple. You want to skip bug room, because bug room is an RNG-laden hellscape. Press X at this, or whatever button you have, to bend down to pick up the key. This is fine right now. Now, as soon as you press X again to cancel this text, immediately hit quick save. Game is saved. Now, press your quick load key. That's it. That's all you have to do. You will appear. The key will still be on the ground, and the room won't have triggered yet, but key. In essence, you have duplicated the key. In doing so, you can just leave immediately and head straight here with the key in hand. Skipping this room, incidentally, also keeps the dry cell battery in your inventory forever. This leads to an interesting bug in the late game where when you try and get rid of the dry cell battery on the shelf, it won't. Fortunately, it doesn't count, so don't worry about it. And no, you cannot get infinite keys in the inventory, they all go in the same space. Anyway, head backwards from where you're facing here, pick up this plate. You need it later. So this dodge coming up here is kind of random. You want to wiggle the stick a bit to the upward direction to kind of get by this guy. And get this tablet. The way this guy goes is totally random. He might block you, he might not. That's actually pretty good luck that I got there. Head through this door. You want to head into the second open cell here and hit this at a sort of diagonal angle in order to quickly pick up the wax doll without triggering the books. Because that would waste time with unnecessary text. Get in here, and I don't even really count which cell door this is, I just kind of know. And by that I mean I get it wrong at least once. You want to head in this cell. Tap this 3 times to get back out. All the cells look the same, don't at me. Head down, tap the camera change button to orient to something less silly. And this room's a pain. Because you want to hold, like, forward, a little bit to the left here. A bit more left. So you want to get to this, right? And you want to use your 3 tablets. But like with the coin, as soon as you use it, hold down and away, and start mashing quick save. And then when it comes up, you know, mash through the text, blah, blah, blah. And then when it goes black, hit quick save, and start holding down again, but also hold your camera shift button. Because you want to keep a straight line to the door as possible, like that. But if the camera, like, goes apeshit, you might run straight to the left or something. That's what holding the camera shift button helps with. It will keep your movement going in the same direction. So now you can simply get on with things. This is just hold straight down. This is hold left and down a bit. Get through this door. Down and left again. Get the lighter. It's got a pretty large hitbox, so you're groovy. Head to about here. Be in front of this. Don't be on it. Be in front of it. Be about here-ish. And use your items here. Jump in. Hold down. Hold down and a bit to the left to get around this body. Hold up right. Get through this. Now, this door. Run up to it, activate it, and then quick save immediately. Because that way it triggers the text faster, so that you can jump down. And now, run forward. Elevator! While you're here, pick up the first aid kit, press the H key on your keyboard. It will use the first aid kit automatically to heal you. Pick up your shotgun shells. and your handgun bullets, and that's fine. If you're playing on normal mode where guns don't reload automatically, you can even press the R button while you're in here to reload the gun. We're playing on any % difficulty, so beginner, so you don't have to worry about that. But this is just straight up an auto-scroller. There is, in fact, it's not even really an auto-scroller. You can leave and take a piss now if you want. But there ain't nought to do until you have reached the bottom. The labyrinth can be a strange section, movement-wise. It's a section I recommend practice on. I mean, I recommend practice generally. It's just sort of, you know, doing a thing a lot makes you good at it. Weird. But once your elevator arrives, hold forward. Then you can transition to more of a rightward angle. And be on your way. Hold up right here to move in the correct direction. Get by this guy. Alright, so we're going to hold left here, and then head a bit down to immediately hit this cube. And then you want to twist it to be upside down yellow. I hold L2 here to keep the camera angle straight forward, so that you can go down, straight into this room. Leave. I like to hold down here and hold L2. Okay, actually, let me address this. If you hold L2 to change the camera angle, or whatever your camera angle button is, before the room is actually loaded, this will happen. Oops, no movement, only sad. You need to start moving before you press the camera angle change button, or James just won't move. Why? Because game sucks. So make sure you start moving before you actually press the L2 button. But I like to press it because it keeps me moving straight so that I can get through this door, like, hopefully without bonking the side of it like that. Because when you get through here, the camera angle can be a bit weird. You want to head in a straight line towards this to pick up the wire cutters. These two hitboxes are way too close together, which makes it really easy to go for the wire clippers and accidentally hit the ladder. And you need the wire clippers, so, you know, pick them up. This ladder has a peculiar hitbox that it can be hit from, like, the wall. Like that. So you can press your face into the right side of that wall there and get away with being really far away from it. That does not apply to other ladders. It's just that one. Use the wire clippers, skip a cutscene, go down right. Down right. Down right is the universal rule when you're coming up from a ladder. So this one, go up, and then when you cross the boundary here, ready the gun, hold forward, tap X, and then tap X again when he's on the floor. You have to delay it slightly. If you fire 2 shots too quickly, he won't die. You need to delay the second shot a bit. So that way you can kill him and you can walk on past, because you're not going to badge past that guy. It ain't going to happen. You gotta push. Go the right side on this guy to get through easier. The left side will block you. It doesn't look like it will, but it will. So bear that in mind. And again, this ladder does not have the same sort of funky hitbox. You actually got to be, like, in range. At this point, I recommend turning your flashlight off. You don't really need your flashlight for this section at all, but turn it off here. When you enter this room, immediately activate It's Too Dark to Read the Map. You can do it a lot faster than that, but I'm doing it slow for the sake of demonstration, because a boss fight would normally trigger about here-ish if you just walked forward. If you have It's Too Dark to Read the Map active, you can just skip it. And now it's time to address Arsonist. Yay! So, this room contains the solution that you seek. These bodies all have different crimes associated with them. The one you want is the Arsonist. When you find the Arsonist, that's the noose that you need to pull. So, I got second Arsonist here. That's okay. You can go into this room, pull the second noose, pull the second noose, and then when you go back, you get the key. Now, if you're going for, like, a big boy world record tier kind of times, what you would do is you would not even check the first room. You would just immediately run into the room with the nooses, yank the first one, and hope you get it. That's called the blind Arsonist, and because there's 6 bodies, the odds of getting an Arsonist are 1 in 6. Like, it is true random. So, 5 in 6 runs lose, like, 20 seconds, because that's how much you lose if you don't get it. I only recommend going for blind Arsonist when you have, like, you know, super big boy times. Otherwise, you don't really gotta. It can save time, I guess. Like, if you're behind, go for it, I guess. If you're, like, not aiming for big boy plays. But if you're just starting out, you don't gotta. I didn't when I was starting out. Right, so now we're coming up on the Eddie fight. Hold down here, then when the camera angle changes, you can switch to forward. Unfortunately, you cannot quick save while you are down here. I'll make this a lot easier. Although the Eddie boss fight is simple. When you start, you have the pistol equipped, so you can immediately fire off a shot. Skip the cutscene, fire a shot. That's the first phase done. That's it. When you approach this door, hit your next weapon hotkey to switch to the shotgun, so now you have the shotgun equipped for the second phase of this fight. Immediately walk, sort of to the up left, ready the gun, and fire it. You should kill him in one hit. Easy. So you can skip your cutscene and move on with life. If you don't time the shot exactly so, it might take 2 shots. It's kind of rare, but it does happen. Don't worry about it too much. Anyway, the boat. There's a certain method to the boat, right? So when you first get on the boat, start to hold right. Pay attention to the left door. When it gets through about 2 rotations, let go and start holding forward. The amount of right input that you put on will vary. It's kind of a feel thing, but you want to aim for that light, and 2 full rotations of the left door pushing you to the right should just about get you there. I was a bit too light there. Fortunately, you can start to press like upright on the stick to adjust for your location. So you don't have to be like super exact about it, but obviously you want to line it up as closely as possible on the first go, since moving diagonally is slower than moving straight forward. Boat physics. But once you have the lineup, just hold forward and you will boat to victory. Bada bing, bada boom, get me out of this room. Okay, so you move up here. Go left here. I like to let go of the movement again when I get in front of the fountain because the camera angle changes there very suddenly, which can make it difficult to pick up the box. Go in here. Again, this room is random angle, so if you just hold straight down, hey, I'm moving upright, genius. Wiggle sticks to prevent it. Collect the fish key. You can quick save here to gain control. It doesn't matter. You have to wait for this cutscene to play out. You can't leave early. Okay, so when you get down here, turn off your light before you arrive down here. Time for the out of bounds. This is the most difficult trick in the Silent Hill 2 run. So this is probably where a bulk of practice must be spent. So trigger It's Too Dark to Read the Map. Then you can get back up here. Then you want to sort of go around the top here and wedge yourself in this wall like so. Like you can kind of see James's foot poking out there. Keep hold of It's Too Dark to Read the Map while you do this. You want to proceed along the wall at a sort of downright angle such that you fall parallel to it while staying inside the wall. If you're too far to the left, you'll fall back in bounds, and that's bad. You want to be like this. Because that was a good out of bounds, actually. Because now I'm out of bounds, and I can just run forward to that area and get into the basement. I have clipped back in bounds so I can show you it like again. Walk around here, get yourself sort of half in the wall, tap sort of down right, and eventually fall, and there you go, out of bounds. I make it look easy because I'm well practiced at this. This trick is hard. The angle it takes is very exact. Practice it very well. But it saves time, so it's hella worth it. You can get it down. It can be made consistent, but it is difficult. So don't feel bad if it takes you, like, I spent, like, hours trying that stuff. Anyway, once you're out of bounds, head, hold upright until you get about here, move in front of this, and then hold straight upward. At this point, you can let go of game saved. So hold up, continue to hold up, until the camera angle shifts to this. When it reaches this point, start to wiggle on the down left direction and then hold it, because you will start to move in this direction. And eventually, you will clip back into bounds. or you can miss it completely like an asshole. Close enough. If you do that correctly, you should fall more about, like, there-ish. My angle was a bit out, so whatever. Either way, you're now in the the hotel basement early. So you need to progress back upstairs.
I disagree.
And get these things. That's my sub-notification, by the way. I didn't turn those off before I started recording this. Ha! Anyway, this hitbox can be very particular. I like to hold it down left and just tap twice and then leave. I made that look easy, but there's a bunch of garbage hitboxes around it, which can make it challenging to hit exactly. Whoops. Hold down right here and stay firm with it so that you can, like, not get what just happened to me through the camera angle change. It's difficult sometimes. Minor movement mistakes are to be expected. Try and iron them out over time, but it can be a challenging thing to do. Hold down right, approach this can, scroll through your inventory, reach the can. Skip this, get your light bulbs, blah blah blah. Go around this corner, use the light bulb. Then you want to hold up left here, so you can get the paint thinner. This is technically skippable, but the current route, it's dubiously worth doing so I'm just gonna not do that. I don't do it in any of the current world record runs, so I'm not addressing that. Anyway, proceed up through here. Use your fish key on this suitcase. This is another item picture cutscene where when it goes black, start quick saving immediately so that you can gain control and maneuver towards the door early. That one requires you to hold down and then sort of change to the right after a while. Reach this room. Make sure you're facing the door before you try and use the key to avoid auto-aim. Reach this room. When you get in here, use your paint thinner on the ground, sort of wherever. Doesn't really matter. To see your word code. My code is luck. And just enter it. Again, these cylinder positions are random, so they can start very close to the result that you want. And also, like I said, the paint thinner is technically optional. You don't need to pick it up. You can just YOLO guess the code. There are 19 possible solutions to the briefcase, and you can just straight, like, Wheel of Fortune style guess the final code if you want. It's very unlikely you'll save any time by doing so, but it is an option. Maneuver up right here. Sort of go in like an arc so that you hit this quickly. Press your cancel button to get out of this text box quickly. So, like, use and then hit 1, 2. Like, accept and then cancel. Accept and then cancel. And this one you want to hit accept on, but then start quick saving, because then you gain control. So position yourself in front of this door. Then you can skip this cutscene while you're already in front of the door, saving a little bit of time on the movement. Get the key. The key box can be a bit difficult in the movement. Get the hotel stairway key. So once you get through here, you're almost done with the hotel. Hold up right. Now change to wiggling down right to get through here. Try and hit this door that you can't really see. Try and use this videotape and fail because this hitbox is giant shit. And then leave. Now you're in the end game. The best port. Hit this door. And then hold up left. It carries you through that first hallway a bit quicker. It kind of teleports you. So you save a couple seconds in game time that way. Hit the elevator. Use your mouse to select the basement. Skip that cutscene because that one counts for in-game time. Skip that very quickly if you can. Maneuver back through the bar. And this one you just need to hold down and just do the stick flick to the right thing in order to quickly go down again. This guy can be in the way of the door depending on your luck. It can be annoying sometimes. When you skip this, just hold straight up, get back into the door, and then we'll immediately put you into the next room. Hold down. This turn coming up is one I'm bad at, so yeah, that turn's difficult. I've not really got the hang of it yet, if I'm being totally frank with you. These turns as well, they challenge me. I'm not a fan of them. Those guys can hit you through the floor if they feel like being giant pricks, which they did, so that's a fun way to randomly lose time. So now, Pyramid Head boss fight. What you want to do, this boss fight can be made very quick if you're, lucky, is you want to run up left and immediately fire 2 shotgun shells into the left Pyramid Head and then get out of the way. So that's 2 shots, that should kill. Now get here-ish, move, leave, and then sort of follow it in. Because when you skip the cutscene, you stay your position so you can immediately get the eggs off their body. Menuing is hard. You can use either egg on either door, it does not matter. But obviously, I use the order that makes menuing easy. Alright, and now for the point of actually needing a keyboard. When you reach this door, pause the game. While the game is paused, in-game time does not progress, but it does progress while you are in the options menu. You want to make a control style swap here, because of a really bizarre thing involving the way the final section works. So open the options menu, move the mouse out of the way, quickly change to rotational style, and then get back into the pause menu. There are varying ways to input that depending on how you want to do it. You can either point the mouse directly at the menu option and change it that way. I use the controller and move the mouse out of the way so it doesn't intercept inputs. But once you are changed to your rotational style, change to your keyboard. Hopefully you set your keyboard binds up in advance.
Can you please tell me what splits do you use that counts in game time?
I'm going to ignore that
Thanks.
because don't donate in the... Fuck's sake. Anyway, ignoring that, proceed through.
Mary?
What do you want?
You just need to hold forward when you're using rotational style. Hopefully you have your strafe keys bound to something convenient. I have mine bound to the arrow keys
Damn flowers.
because you want to strafe
Okay
here.
already.
Mary, what are you saying?
Look. I'm disgusting. I don't deserve flowers.
I can't remember if this is up left or up right. Hold up left here, and then when you reach this, change to strafing to the right, because you want to strafe up these stairs. Strafing up the stairs gives you full speed, you see. Whereas if I were to say, try and run up the stairs, you would notice it stops me. Like, this is me trying to run up the stairs, it just prevents you from doing so. It makes you walk every so often, whereas if you strafe up them, full speed. And you save so much more time doing this that it's totally worth it. Versus, like, keeping the control style in whatever. So the final boss, position yourself about at the edge of the bed, and if you're close enough, you might be able to get 2 shot kills off like that without getting hit. That was perfectly good. Shoot it a final time, and that is the end of the run. But it's not the end of the run. Timing doesn't stop until the results screen. This cutscene doesn't count, so you can let this play. But then the next one, you skip this cutscene. This one fucking does, so skip that one quickly. This one doesn't. Once you've skipped that last cutscene, you're in the clear. Because these 2 cutscenes do not count in-game time. And there you go. That was Silent Hill 2. That's pretty much everything you need to know to run the game. If it seems simple a lot of the time, where it's just, oh, run forward and shoot the gun, that's because it kinda is that simple. It's not a super complicated run in a lot of ways. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you running this game soon. If you are that way inclined. Maybe you just thought this video was interesting. But nevertheless, thank you very much. Goodbye.